What is an adult problem that nobody prepared you for? The childishness of other adults. Aging parents. How much every injury you had as a kid didn't really heal, it just laid dormant until you woke up on your 38th birthday. Now it hurts all the time. The mental load of remembering everything that needs to be done, and project managing it all. House repairs, improvements, finances, cleaning, laundry, bills, hiring people to do things, trips to the vet for vaccines, groceries, car maintenance, and the list goes on. It takes up too much room in my head. Being tired all the fucking time. Being absolutely exhausted most of the time. I never thought I'd be the I hate everyone guy. But I am, and everyone can FCK off. The realization that $1,000 is not a lot of money to have, but it is a lot of money to owe someone. When to call a repairman and when you can amateurly fix it yourself. The existential horror of being in a dead-end job with a horrible boss but can't afford to quit because you'll starve. Edit. Whoa. Just so you know guys, I'm better now. I left the job I didn't like and I enjoy my work now. Also, as some of you suggested, I've been doing my master's concurrently. I'm working towards my dream job in a university. Office politics. Edit. This is the way. The endless cleaning. I had chores when I was a kid, but I had zero clue how much actual work went into keeping house. I cleaned my house this morning and by midweek it'll be a war zone of pet hair, crumbs, and dust. I don't even have kids. What the fuck? It's like the underpants gnomes show up when I'm asleep and fuck my house up. You telling me I gotta make food every day? Often multiple times a day just to stay alive. Back pain. All the laundry. Good grief, does it pile up? How hard it is to keep friends. Don't even get me started on relationships. Controlling your finances. Everything I have learned about budgeting, debt recovery, pensions, saving, and wise purchases I have had to learn for myself. The incessant flow of bills. Phone, water, electricity, insurance, rent, mortgage, also, college debt. Oh, and dental care. Kurt Vonnegut had it right when he said the trouble with getting older is you outlive your teeth. A lack of community. Growing up you have your elementary school. Each day you see your friends and participate in activities together. Sometimes they move away and sometimes you do, but it largely stays the same through high school and middle school. Flash forward to adulthood and you're just alone. You want to make friends IRL, but have no idea how to go about doing it without seeming creepy, desperate, or God knows what. This is really hard when you are not overtly religious, so you cannot join a religious community. My friend and I talk about this from time to time. It's arguably the hardest thing to deal with in life. It gets worse the longer you live. As you know, you are outliving your generation. Chronic back pain with no drugs that can help. Having to figure out what to eat 3 times a day. Basic home maintenance. When to change air filters, smoke alarm batteries, timing of lawn care. How often do you clean the gutters? Are you supposed to clean under the stove? What is edging? How do you recycle? How to change locks, etc. The inevitably of your parents dying. My dad just passed away and I'm 25. No one could have prepared me, I guess. Vegetables die too soon in the fridge. Making important life decisions. When you're young you have a safety net, but when you're an adult you're taking on risk that can influence successive years of your life. Same goes for single versus family. Edit. Thank you for the silver. The combo between lack of income and plenty of debt. How much harder it is to make friends. I kinda feel like if you hadn't already made some good friends by 25-26, you'll end up stuck with superficial friendships. I'm still confused AF. I thought adults had their shit together. Careers. As a kid you hear, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's always, nurse, doctor, fireman, game designer, etc. Which is all so simple. But then when you do start training, working in that career and you realize you don't like it. It just feels like such a terrifying thing to now have to think of a new career identity. I'm pretty sure most of us spend a lot of time working through this crap. My career isn't viable. What do I do? And come to the conclusion that yeah, it actually does make you more sane working in a shop or whatever, then going home at night having paid the bills and not stressing. It's the realization that really takes time. You can go days on end without having to speak to a single person. At first it's a dream come true. After about 2 months you start talking to your toaster to pad the silence while waiting for your toast. That you see the dead body of a parent one day and have to be next to the desperate surviving parent and try to comfort while you're desperate yourself. The disillusion that comes with realizing your parents had no actual clue what they were doing 86% of the time whilst raising you. Being sick and having to care for yourself. Like when you were younger, your parents would get the medicine, or the medicine cabinet would just be stocked all the time, etc. But here I am with a cold, having to build up the energy to go to the supermarket to buy some aspirin and throat lozenges all by myself. How much time you spend just doing stuff. Oh, need to replace my tire and that's over by the store. So while I replace the tire I can do some errands and I'll save time and be home in no time. 3 hours later. Okay, just one more errand before I head home. Also, how putting off a small task just a couple days in a row can quickly amount to a longer chore responsibility later. I can just leave this in the sink. Get to it later before bed. 2 days. Why is this grime caked onto this plate still? I've been scrubbing for 10 minutes straight. People still being bullies way past high school. How fucking lonely you can be. How depressing and mundane working 40 plus hours per week for 30 plus years is. If you don't love yourself as a teen, you're gonna have a fucking blast trying to learn it as an adult while supporting yourself. I wish I had tried harder as a teen to understand myself instead of drowning my emotions in wow. Having to put up with so much crap from people in higher positions even though they're less competent than you. Because you need that paycheck. And as you get older, sometimes life circumstances trap you there. Anus hair. No one helping you. From a 16-year-old reading this thread. Fuck. That depression doesn't go away after teenage hormones subside. How uneducated people are. Like, the complete lack of reasoning and critical thinking is astonishing. You can't even have a proper conversation with some people because they make up their minds and the conversation is over. That all those big things you thought you'd have time to do when you're older often become physically impossible to do when you're older even if you have the time. Having serious philosophical, religious, political disagreements with family. The number of decisions I have to make. As a kid, you never have a lot of choice in what's for dinner, what to do on the weekend, where you live, your household income, what to do when your vehicle makes a funny noise, etc. Now that I have to look after all those things, I just wish someone would come along and tell me what to do half the time. Always having to be on. At work you need to meet goals and be on. At home with your kids you need to be on. With your spouse you need to be on. I'm very fortunate that my wife and I can just sit and veg in complete silence for hours. And nobody is internally freaking out. Deciding what's for dinner every night for the rest of my life. Having to not only make important decisions by myself, I expected that much, but also having to do so in a timely fashion uninhibited by indecision. Definitely not quicksand and piranhas, I'll tell you that.